everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. The S&P 500 was down 1% today. A couple of different causes. Apple had a report that they had to slow down in iPhone sales in China. There's been some slowdown for Tesla in China also. Advanced Micro Devices had some chips that they're not allowed to sell to China at this point in time that affected that stock. And so saw a lot of selling off in the big tech stocks. It's also an area that's seen a huge run up. So there's no doubt that there's a need for pulling back. There was a report showing that the number of long position optioned for the large tech companies had really exceeded averages by a lot. So things are kind of stretched out, and you generally have pullbacks. We also have the Federal Reserve coming out now. So Bostic, who's a chairman for the Atlanta region for the Federal Reserve, said today that he was only expecting maybe one rate cut in the third quarter. And he's considered one of the people that would probably want more rate cuts than some of the other Fed Reserve chairmen. So that was seen as kind of a little bit of a negative. And then, of course, Chairman Powell has his semi-annual, basically testimony in front of Congress tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised if some people are selling off in advance of that also, just because I think from what I've seen, if you look back at what the Federal Reserve did when this first started in November of 2021, started talking very aggressively about raising rates and really, I think, trying to jawbone or talk down the markets as a whole and get the markets to do some of the work for them to slow things down. And then, the fourth quarter of last year, the core PCE was actually quite low. Matter of fact, annualized out, it was at 1.5%. So the Fed doesn't like that either. They really want to let that rate stay around 2% and not get too much below that. So I noticed a change in the way that they were talking about things. They weren't being as aggressive in their conversations, when it came to the market itself. And now we're starting to see the opposite. I think because of really, the numbers have been better. Inflation's a little bit higher. And, I would think that, with the PCE report we just got, it was down a little bit, but wasn't down a lot. It was a pretty big jump for the month. I think maybe we're going to get back to the Federal Reserve being more, aggressive in their conversations. So don't be surprised if tomorrow Powell isn't pretty insistent upon how long it might take before they have a rate cut and, those type of things. I think that they're right. Actually, things are picking up a little bit. Inflation isn't falling as fast as it was. So, again, I've said this before, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see any rate cuts. I know that's not a majority opinion, but things continue to do quite well here. And with the stock market having, gained over 20% since October of last year, a lot of people probably feel like they have more money and it's going to be more spending and more travel and those types of things, which will kind of put more pressure on inflation as far as that goes, potentially, as we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, that's what's going on right now. A 1% drop is not a fun thing, but it's not a big deal in the overall scheme of thing. If you look closely at the market since October 27th, there's been quite a few little dips here and there. Usually, at least in this, run up here, it has promoted buying. So, the dip buyers come in and kind of reverse things. We'll see what happens tomorrow with Powell's testimony as to whether that's happening right away or if we have to wait for a while. But overall, the momentum is still very strong. The Federal Reserve is still, talking about when they might lower rates and not when they're going to raise rates, which would be a really big deal. And of course, the earnings reports have been great. And the artificial intelligence story, I think, is something that's got some legs. It'll be going on for a while here. So, there's plenty of reasons for the market to come back up here in a while. But, you never know. You just keep watching, react to what happens. But 1% isn't something to worry about at this point in time. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you.